Now while I'm waiting for my Windows 7 to be rebooted with my computer, it's a long story, I'm going to install the bearings and use JB Weld. The best way I've found to use JB Weld, which is an epoxy, what you have is the glue or whatever itself, and this is the catalyst or the hardener. You mix it 50-50. I like to mix it with using one of these dollar knives. I like them because the knives can be bent. You can get into hard places if you want. You can see it's already been used for that. If I really need to do touchy things, I use these Q-tips. That's what we call them in America. I don't know if they're called Jubilee clips or some weird name in Europe. But what I've done is on your main case, once you have it cleaned up and you want to go, we're going to put the bearing right here. I'll have to do this off camera with the JB Weld, but that's all right. There's a couple ways you can do this. Now, some people take the bearings and they freeze them, or they'll freeze those and they'll heat the case up in your oven and drop the bearings in. And what happens is the freezing will freeze the steel just a little bit. The heat from the oven will expand the case a little bit, and this should drop in. I've never used that before. I have tried the frozen method. That does kind of work. It really doesn't matter with these little tiny bearings. Another method I've seen in Europe, Europe's got some pretty weird ideas that are neat that I wouldn't have thought about. They have a spray. Okay, it's a Freon spray. This isn't it, but what you do is you take this and you spray it on the bearings while you're putting it in, and it freezes them. And then, of course, after it wears off and warms up, the steel expands and is snug tight in there. I use this is the way to do it for a backyard mechanic. You can get these large washers somewhere. Well, you know, at a tractor factory or a combine or space shuttle or you know, Golden Gate Bridge Parts or Us. And what I like to do is I like to stick it right on there, on the top there, and I use a hammer, and I will tap it in when I get ready to do that. On the other side of the coin, the other side of the, let's see if I can get this. Now this, I use a post, and it goes all the way up, as you can see, and it goes right underneath the crank gallery. The reason I do that is because, now I've heard this happen before, when you put your bearing in right here, and if you just have this part supported by the table, you can be pounding on this and all of a sudden it'll crack right around here and fall through. So you don't want that. Not when this thing costs $200 and there's another $500 in labor to get it to fit the 52mm crank. So I put this in here. Now let me give you a little tip on, I'm going to give you the tip of the day on how to hammer these in without fucking up these edges, which you cannot screw up. I learned this a long time ago, back when I worked in a brake shop. I'll switch hands here. Now let's just pretend that this camera is my eyes, okay? Now when you go to pound something in, and watch the camera, okay? I may be going like this, or like this, or like this, or like this. You don't want to do that, okay? This hammer will hit wherever your eye is focused on. And if you don't believe me, you can try it. It's a long story. But you want to be focused right here. You want to have your head glued to your body, glued to the ground, and not move side to side, up or down, or anything like that. You want to be looking directly at that when you hit it. And what you'll do is you'll hit it very lightly, and it'll go ting, 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 ting. And as you get close to where it seats, it'll go bong. It'll be a dull sound, and that's it, and it's done. So I'm going to mix up the JB Weld. I'm going to put both bearings in. Then I'm going to leave it overnight before I put the crank in. Cat, if you piss in there, I'm going to tie your balls up to 100 feet of piano string and drop you off the top of this building. Okay? No, get out of there. You're not peeing in there. I've had it with you. Yeah, right. You don't know what's going on. Get your ass out of here. I'm going to send your ass out back to the orphanage, you worthless cat. No, you're not going in there. Get out of there. Got to watch these damn animals all the time. Anyway, it's another fun day at my DIO shop, and I hope there's some lessons that you can pick up on this. It's hard for me to start and stop, wash my hands, and do everything, and keep it on camera and try and show the world how this works. Also, one other thing, for my friends out there in the world who don't speak English, would it be helpful if I transcribe my videos and on a typewriter? Would that be helpful? Let me know, because I can type 60, 70 words a minute, and if it will be helpful, I will do it. Thank you.